story opens with Jake, a young intern at a sprawling, old hospital known for its eerie reputation. As he walks through the dimly lit corridors on his first night shift, he hears unsettling whispers and feels a cold breeze that raises the hair on his arms. A dimly lit hospital corridor with flickering lights. Jake stands at the entrance, looking apprehensive as shadows dance along the walls. As Jake settles into his duties, he learns about the hospital's dark past from a seasoned nurse. She shares chilling stories about patients who mysteriously disappeared and unexplained. Occurrences that still haunt the building. Jake laughs it off, but can't shake the feeling of unease. A close-up of Jake, sitting at a nurse's station, listening intently to the nurse's ghost stories. The hospital's sterile environment contrasts with the eerie tales. Later that night, as Jake makes his rounds, he notices doors creaking open and closed on their own. He brushes it off as the wind, but he can't ignore the feeling of being watched. He checks on a patient in room 213, who suddenly stares blankly at the wall, mumbling incoherently. A shot of Jake peering into a patient's room, the patient staring blankly into the distance. The atmosphere is tense, with shadows lurking in the corners of the room. While checking the patient's chart, Jake discovers that room 213 has been empty for years. Confused, he looks back at the patient, who now appears to be a shadowy figure, dissolving into the air. He stumbles back, heart racing, and quickly leaves the room. A dramatic scene where Jake realizes the patient is a shadowy figure, half visible. His expression shows horror and disbelief as he backs away from the room. Jake confides in the nurse about what he saw, but she simply nods knowingly. She tells him about the tragic history of room 213, a patient who died there under mysterious circumstances. Many believe their spirit lingers, seeking vengeance on those who disturbed their peace. A flashback scene showing the nurse recounting the tragic story of room 213. Shadows flicker around them, emphasizing the eerie atmosphere of the hospital's past. As the nights go on, the hauntings grow stronger. Jake hears cries echoing through the halls and sees fleeting figures in his peripheral vision. One night, he finds himself drawn back to room 213, unable to resist. The pull of the haunting presence. A tense scene of Jake standing outside room 213, hesitating with fear. Flickering lights cast shadows that seem to reach out for him, creating a sense of dread. Inside the room, Jake feels a cold rush of air. The temperature drops, and he sees the shadowy figure standing at the foot of the bed, pointing at him. Jake feels a wave of panic, and memories of the tragic story flood his mind. He realizes the figure wants him to uncover the truth. A chilling scene of the shadowy figure pointing at Jake, who stands frozen in terror. The room is shrouded in darkness, with an otherworldly glow surrounding the figure. Terrified but determined, Jake seeks out a paranormal investigator known for their work in haunted hospitals. Together, they return to room 213, armed with equipment to communicate with the spirit. Jake hopes to find peace for the restless soul. A scene showing Jake and the investigator in the hospital, setting up equipment with flashlights illuminating their faces. The atmosphere is thick with tension and anticipation. As they begin their session, the temperature drops again, and Jake feels an overwhelming presence. They ask questions, and the spirit responds through a spirit box, revealing a tragic story of betrayal and loss. The spirit reveals it was wrongfully accused of something it didn't do. A shot of Jake and the investigator wide-eyed as they listen to the spirit box crackle with static and whispers. Ghostly images might appear around them, enhancing the horror. The spirit reveals the name of a doctor who had wronged it, and Jake realizes that the hospital has covered up the truth for years. With this newfound knowledge, they agree to conduct a ritual to help the spirit find peace. A scene showing Jake and the investigator preparing for the ritual, surrounded by candles and protective symbols. The tension builds as they prepare to confront the spirit's anger. During the ritual, the atmosphere becomes electric. The spirit becomes restless, and shadows swirl around the room. They recite chants, and Jake feels a deep connection to the spirit, understanding its pain. Suddenly, the room is filled with a blinding light, a dramatic scene of the ritual in progress, with shadows swirling violently. Jake and the investigator are focused, their faces illuminated by the flickering candlelight. As the light fades, the spirit appears before them, now peaceful and grateful. It whispers a final thank you before dissipating into the air. Jake feels a weight lifted from his shoulders, knowing he helped the spirit find closure. The hospital feels lighter and the hauntings cease. A serene scene of Jake and the investigators standing in an empty room, a soft glow surrounding them. They look relieved, having successfully helped the spirit find peace. In the aftermath, Jake reflects on his experience. Though the hospital is now quieter, he knows the memories of the unseen terror will linger with him forever. He shares the story with others, warning them about the shadows that still hide within the walls. A scene of Jake outside the hospital, looking back with a thoughtful expression. The building looms behind him, shrouded in mist, as a sense of mystery still surrounds it.